Welcome to Thought Leaders, featuring interviews with some of the best minds in the industry. Today's special guest is best-selling author, popular platform speaker, and certified financial planner, Michael Morrow. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and talk show host. Today we're talking about the importance of prospecting, all from Michael's book, The Loyalty Edge, and his popular series, Ideas for Advisors. Well, Michael, I'm looking at The Loyalty Edge. We're going to talk about a lot of this stuff comes from this book.
Absolutely.
And again, you can catch us out on Amazon.com or go right out to Michael's site, buy it at his store. You've been all over the world talking. Lately, you've been talking about your new book.
Yes.
And The Loyalty Edge. This is how we're developing a loyal following. It's really great from your clients.
Yes.
So let's talk about prospecting. I'm just going to be there's a little confessional. I hate prospecting.
I think almost everybody hates prospecting. You know, the worst thing that you could do is have to go and find new people. But what happens is you have 1,200 hours in a year to prospect new clients or deal with your existing clients. And anybody who's been in this business for any period of time knows that it's a lot easier to keep clients than it is to go out and attract new clients. And so that's again why we came up with the title of The Loyalty Edge, because if you can do a really good job of fostering client loyalty, the tools and the skills and the skill set that's needed to foster client loyalty is the same skill set for prospecting. But the better you are at fostering client loyalty, the less prospecting you're going to have to do, because you're going to get more and more people saying yes, shorten the sales cycle for getting prospects, plus keep your clients for a longer period of time and get if you've ever done the math of the lifetime value of a client, it's just amazing. And if you could improve your client retention by 1 or 2% a year over a career, it really, really has a big effect on you.
And you've seen this because you've actually practiced this. You started out just like all of us, kind of apprehensive about doing prospecting, and you found a way to make this work for you.
Yes. And this is a concept called the loyalty ladder. It's been around for a long time, and basically everybody in society falls on one of 5 rungs of the loyalty ladder. At the very bottom, we have a suspect. You can see I have a question mark. We don't know if they have a need or want. We don't know if they have the money to act. We don't know if they match our profile. We don't know if they're willing to talk to us. Next level is a prospect, where you can see I have 3 bags of money on the right-hand side. And then we have, so when your suspect and prospect is attracting clients. And then when we talk about retaining clients is the next 3 levels. First one is a customer. You can see I have 2 bags of money on one side and one on the other side. This is somebody they're dealing with us, but they're dealing with somebody else out there. And they're practicing the golden rule of diversification that we talk to them about, of not putting all your eggs in one basket. And you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Client, I absolutely did say to you, don't put all your eggs in one basket, but it's okay to have all of your baskets at the same farm. So bring everything over here, and that's what I call a client. And a client is somebody who's not only dealing exclusively with me, dealing exclusively with you, but or as a very minimum, you have lead provider status with them. And at the very top is an advocate, which is not only somebody who's dealing exclusively with me or you, but they're also out there waving your flag and becoming your sales force and sending people to you. And your goal when you get up and you're driving to work every day saying, what am I going to do today? Ultimately, you need to graduate people up the ladder. Graduate your suspects to become prospects, your prospects to become customers, your customers to become clients, and your clients to become advocates. And I think that for anybody who's been in the business for any period of time, by far the best use of your time or to graduate your customers to become clients. Would you rather have 25% of the assets, 25% of the revenue, 25% of the insurance sales of 1,000 people, or 50% of the assets, revenue, insurance sales of 500 people, or 100% of the assets, revenue, insurance sales of 250 people? Which way are you going to have a better life? But ultimately, which way are your clients going to be more successful?
Okay, so this is something that has been around for a little while, but you've actually tweaked this for your own practice.
Sure I have.
And so when you're going through this, how many people, when you're meeting people, they're suspects, first contact, never met them before, what would you say percentage? Or do you think, hey, for every prospect I meet, I'm going to probably 2 or 3, they don't fit my practice,
Sure.
They don't fit that. Are you doing that kind of pre-qualification
Well, I
up
think
front?
that what you're doing when you're prospecting is in a lot of ways you're trying to eliminate people so that you can get in with the people who are the people who match your profile, have a need or want, and are willing to meet with you. And so while you're out prospecting, what you're trying to do is eliminate people. And if you think about this a little bit differently, if you think about this, that you're basically going out and you just take a client focus here for just a moment. And again, everything I'm saying we can use with prospects, but let's just talk about with clients. Here we've got, let's just say this is your entire book of business, exactly how it looks right now. And who cares what it is? Let's say it's 200 clients and it's $200,000 a year of revenue for somebody. People leave for all kinds of reasons. Some people leave because they die or move away. Some people leave because of performance, or maybe they'll leave because they have a friend in the business. But the dominant reason that people leave, and I was very careful when I used the word dominant. If I used the word predominant, it would have meant it's the most important reason. But I didn't use the word predominant. I used the word dominant. That means it's more important than all of the other reasons put together. And by far the dominant reason that people leave is lack of contact from their advisors. There's all kinds of ways that we get to lack of contact, because we get off to a bad start or whatever it happens to be. But if you look and say, what can I do to increase the frequency and the quality of the contact that I have with my clients, and then think about it from your client standpoint first. Then take the exact same skill set and everything you're doing and use that on your prospects. I think you're going to find prospecting going to be much, much easier. You're going to shorten the sales cycle, have to talk to fewer people, and have a much less stressful career. This business is tough enough without any more stress.
True enough. Well, we'll be right back with more from Michael Morrow right after the break.
This is your website. Few people visit, and if it isn't attracting new visitors, it's not doing its job. Now you can drive more visitors to your website through dynamic content and email marketing with CreativeOne's Social Media Elite. Capture quality leads faster and easier. Engage your visitors with informative articles and videos to boost your online credibility. Plus, stay connected with existing clients and earn more referrals. All content is customized for you. It's time to introduce your website to the world. Call your CreativeOne sales team at 800-992-2642 or visit us online at creativeone.com.
Well, welcome back, everyone. We're continuing our interview with Michael Morrow on the importance of prospecting, all from Michael's book, The Loyalty Edge, and his popular series, Ideas for Advisors. Well, Mike, when we talked the first part, people want to develop loyalty. I love your book's title. But when we're talking about this issue of developing systems and, how am I going to get from A to B successful, and some of the things you give away and we're going to talk about here, I think you really fell on some of these things over your career, kind of trial and error, and now you got this thing perfected.
Absolutely. Basically what I did one day was I just sat down. I didn't read any marketing books or anything like that. I just sat down and I sort of said, what are the key things that I'm sort of looking at? So before we send anything out to a client, to a prospect, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's an email, whether it's a basket, whether it's a card, it doesn't make any difference. We ask ourselves a couple of simple questions. And I think it's really important for the people watching this to understand that every single person out there has a brand. You might be sitting there saying, I don't have a brand. Everybody has a brand. Does anybody here know somebody whose brand is that they're late all the time? They work very hard on being consistently late in order to establish that brand. And I want my brand with my clients and with my prospects to be, you come to me, we'll look after things, we'll make sure that you're well looked after, and that we're going to not drop the ball. And so some of the questions I ask myself before we send anything out, just basic questions, is what I'm sending out, is it different and better? 2 words, different and better. Next thing is what we're sending out, does it have a high impact? Is it going to have some sort of a long shelf life? And is it going to help to establish me? Is it going to help to establish you as a credible source in your clients' or prospects' eyes? Now, ultimately, because we're in a for-profit business, these are the outcomes that we need to be looking for and that you need to be looking for in order to grow your business, have a successful career, and a successful life. Is what you're sending out, is it going to help to attract additional assets or insurance sales? Or is it going to help to generate quality referrals? Or is it going to improve your client retention? Or is it going to demonstrate your value to your clients? If anything that you're going to do when you send it out is, if it's not going to do those things, then why would you send it out? So what I sort of do is I metaphorically give a score in my head, let's just say from 1 to 10 on the criteria that I talked about. And if I come up with a respectable score, I'm going to send it out to my clients. And some of the things that we do, they're really easy, simple things. And they're most of these things are very, very inexpensive.
So when you're talking about this, if you don't see this, you go back to the first page and start
That's
thinking.
right. We
thinking
go back
through.
at square one because we have to protect our brand with our clients and prospects.
And I loved your part about, I would say a third of our entire advisory doesn't have a brand at all.
Absolutely.
But they may have a brand by their behavior. They may have their brand by the way they practice themselves.
The way you dress, everything.
Okay, so can I go back to this one slide here? I'm just curious now before we go. Okay, everybody's looking for different because differentiation is the key in our business. High impact, that's a big one because in my view, I feel like most of the stuff that we serve up many times is very average, nothing to write home to mother about. And how long shelf life? Is this just a momentary blip in the radar or does this thing have some staying power?
Sure.
So, and then the last one, I love the credible source because, hey, I'm just me, but I might have a third-party endorsement here or something else that can bring serious credibility. Yeah. So if I'm doing this right, if I'm hearing you correctly, this is when this works.
That's
if
correct.
I don't see that outcome, I got to go back to page
That's correct. And you might not score high on all of them. Something might have a high impact, but not have a long shelf life. If all of a sudden, let's just say you get interviewed in a business newspaper or a trade journal or something like that, and you send a link to that or a hard copy of that out to your clients or prospects, it's going to really help establish you as a credible source. It's going to have a real high impact. It's going to be really good on being different and better, but it's not going to have a long shelf life. They're not going to take that article and frame it. But if you do other things like send out a calendar to your clients, here's some calendars we've sent out to our clients over the years. We do little 12-month laminated calendars. We send them out. It scores really, really good on having a long shelf life, having a high impact, but this doesn't help to establish me as a credible source at all with my clients.
But you still send it out, and your clients like it.
Absolutely.
See, this is surprising to me because I would have said, hey, it's a calendar. It looks like the same thing my property casualty guy sends me. But you say that it's these little things that people, especially this is all year around, this has much more shelf life than just a month. This is still, even though it's simple, it's popular.
Absolutely. This calendar right here, this is a picture of the world at night. And I got this just off the internet. I Googled and found this. It was available off the NASA site. We put it on a 12-month calendar. This is something we sent out in 2009 as a calendar to our clients. After the markets, we sent it out with a nice letter saying, you know what? The markets are down, like the S&P from peak to trough went down 57%. Everybody's spirits were low, and it's like, you know what? I want to let you know, even though the markets are down 50%, all the lights in the world are still on. And there's only one end of the world, and this isn't it. Other calendars we've sent out, we've sent this one out over the years. This is one of the concepts we've made up. It's called Reasons to Diversify. It doesn't even need words. People understand exactly right away that they want to be in the elevator on the left instead of the elevator on the right. We use things like this on calendars. We use them in client meetings. And again, looking at it as a calendar, high impact, long shelf life, different and better, credible source. Scores really, really high in all those areas.
Well, for more information on today's topic, just click on the landing page address in the video description on YouTube where you can watch all our shows, seminars, and workshops, or visit us out on our website. I'm Steve Savant. We'll see you next time on the Thought Leadership Series. And remember, keep thinking outside the box.